The quantity of objects here is what kind of takes your breath away. In a castle in the middle of Wales, it's kind of strange to see objects from so far away. The elephant in the room for me is the nature of the East India Company. Robert Clive and Edward Clive working for a large corporation, almost acting as a state within a state in Mughal India, and it's the way that organisation operated, how it was able to collect taxes, how it was able to amass land. I would like to see the collection, I suppose, related more to the people who collected it, but also to explaining a little bit more about where those objects came from in the first place. Some things were taken from the battlefield or looted from royal palaces. Other things were acquired and commissioned over there. And other things were gifted. And I think that's the grey area. You know, when is a gift a gift? When is it a bribe? When is it meant to influence somebody? When is it meant to distract attention from maybe something else?
I think there's an elephant in the room about the whole collection and how we express our opinions about it nowadays. The main difficulty is that we don't understand that collection fully. I think museums have had a very one view as to what the history is, depending on where they come from. We need to be open to listening and to ideas as to how this collection can enhance the world in the future. Whether that be through aesthetic appreciation and inspiring future artworks, or being used to remind and remember about past craft techniques and keep a historical record of those, or even just to remember not to do it again in terms of how people treat each other and the atrocities that had gone on or have gone on and are going on.
Iconic image, the tiger's head finial from Tipu Sultan's throne. It is so small, so perfect, so invested with lost power, and I think it's a really great starting point for starting to look at this collection differently. We know that there's only a couple of parts of that throne, that great big gilded representation of huge power and dominance. After the siege, that throne was broken up as a kind of really symbolic act, deconstructing power and then taken, given to the so-called aggressors. And all of these are really weighted pieces of language. And the project that we're embarking on here is really to understand that better and whether we're using the right terms, understanding how that piece of that throne came into the collection here. It's an object from India that's now in Wales, is the rest of the collection. In fact, it's come from parts of Southeast Asia, Sri Lanka. There are Chinese objects in the collection from parts of former India that are now Pakistan and Bangladesh. And we're also trying to map exactly where each of those objects came from, establish what the Clive collection means to people who have undergone migration themselves, and how they relate to it being out of context. What that means for museums around the world, because there are great questions at the moment about repatriation of culturally significant objects.
The little ivory elephant. I learned today actually what the elephant in the room meant about not speaking about things that are obvious. And it is kind of about that. It's like you look at it and you're like, wow, it's so beautiful, and then you find out it's made of ivory and no one really says anything.
It was a fire guard. It was absolutely crammed with stuffed birds that were very, very beautiful. I went round with 3 Bangladeshi Muslims and they could recognise quite a few of the birds as being from Asia, from the Indian subcontinent, now possibly now even Bangladesh. And they were just beautiful birds to me that had been sort of snuffed out, if you like, and were trophies.
Coming from Bangladesh and knowing a bit about how Clive went to India and did what he did, whether for himself or for the country or for both. Recent past have shown that is, whoever writes the history is always, you have to look who has written it and where it's being portrayed. This same scenario when I was a kid at school in Bangladesh was portrayed completely differently. He was a robber rather than a hero. Elephant in the room is like there is different view, however you like to describe it. End of the day, the net thing is, was it worth all the sacrifice or all the loss for whatever gain somebody can find? And my opinion is no. Everybody was doing well on their own before colonialization, and obviously there are some things still going on, part of this problem, and we're still suffering for it.